Welcome to the Fit Femme Project Alignment Podcast. It is here that we cultivate and gather all who have been through it in fitness, relationships, careers, lifestyle changes, and unforgettable crucial life pivots trying to achieve their most sovereign selves. We're here to provide you with thought-provoking, detailed stories and information from truly fascinating men and women from all walks of life, professions, generations, and modern-day sagas who speak to their rawest, darkest moments that made them the strong, decisive, humble, helpful, healing people that they are today. We ask them to hold nothing back because life is a multi-dimensional pursuit to be stronger, healthier, and more aligned mentally, emotionally, and physically. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back to your favorite podcast in the world. I am with Coach Lindsey per usual. What's up?
What's up?
Hi. Happy Friday. You're bundled up. Is it
Yes.
cold over there?
No. I'm in prep. I'm in a weird place. I get below 200 carbs and, things get a little funky around here. It's like I'm in sweatpants, but a sports bra, but a winter jacket. So we're just ready for anything around here.
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful here. Mark and I he has the day off. Can you believe that?
Yeah, a lot of people are off. It's Good Friday.
I don't have off, and I work
Me
in
neither.
healthcare.
Well, my kids are not out of school because they don't go to a religious school. And I was like, bummer. That would have been fun.
That would have been fun, but because I'm not too busy today, we're going to be walking down. There's an Italian market that's a couple blocks away, and they have the best sandwiches. Like, have you seen those videos of like sandwiches that are just doused in meat and sauce?
Okay,
and
did I mention that I'm on prep and under 200 carbs? And
Sorry.
did I?
No, you didn't.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, and my favorite food is sandwiches.
Really?
Oh,
I didn't know that.
I love sandwich. Well, or desserts for sure, but
Desserts.
like food, baby, I love sandwiches.
They are pretty elite.
They are. They never. Well, you can get you a dumb sandwich every once in a while with like weird lunch meat or yuck bread, but you go to a place like that, they don't miss.
And it's just so sinful, but I'll be responsible. I promise.
You got the room for it now. Enjoy, because Monday's April 1st.
I was just gonna say, I'm gonna obviously stay within my range, but we're gonna have some fun this weekend.
Yeah, you should.
That's okay.
You can still have fun. It'll just be like, this is the fun you're having right now.
Yeah.
It'll be like, this is the fun you're having later.
Little bitty baby fun.
I'll have one half of one sandwich, please. Thank you.
That's lovely. I was thinking about it yesterday. For context, for those of you listening, I'm starting my cut on Monday. So I was thinking yesterday, I don't know what it was. Everything was normal. Everyone was eating normal. But I was like, what time was it? Right before dinner, I was starving. And I'm like, no.
But, and we of course, talk a lot about mindset. We always do.
Yeah.
And this is actually something I have wanted to work with you on.
What?
That I had to work with myself on and other clients. It's not just a you thing. It's a people thing in this fear almost. Fear is not the right word, but maybe it's fear of being hungry at all. It's almost like in all of our past lives, we have been like a starving Victorian child, right? And we just freak out if we're hungry. Like, no, this is the end. And getting to a place where when you're in a calorie deficit, when you come from when you just kind of oh, I'm hungry. Well, that tracks. I'm in a calorie deficit. I should feel a little bit hungry, or at least I shouldn't feel full all the time.
But my thinking was if I'm eating this much and I'm this hungry, oh no, Could you
You
imagine?
weren't that hungry. I think
I
a good
more than
calorie
normal.
deficit, well, that could be your cycle and stuff too.
Oh,
Um,
true.
but I think like if you were not like weren't sure if you're in a calorie deficit, to me, I always know like if I'm in a little bit of one, it's like before you go to bed, like it's 9 o'clock and you're being like, I could definitely eat a sandwich right now, but I'm not going to. That's how you know, right? Like you're going to
Okay,
bed
yeah.
and there's not a lot of logs on the fire, but that's what you want.
Yeah, I think being hungry, like that fear of hunger, it's a really primal instinct because I mean, we've all felt that, but before we go into some diet or whatever. Um, but I've gotten my way around it mindset wise. Like there had been a couple times where I just did like a 1 day juice cleanse just to like kind of chill out.
Poop a
And
lot.
leading I don't know, it felt refreshing doing that once in a while.
Really?
So I would do that and it just felt good and refreshing. But leading up to it, I would just be like, it is what it is. I'm doing a juice cleanse tomorrow. It's just 1 day, no big deal. And I get through it just fine. I wasn't
Yeah,
cranky. I mean, I also knew it was 1 day,
facts. Like one day. But again,
knowing what to expect.
we'll work on it. But there's going to be, I want
Okay.
you, like, when you're in a calorie deficit, like, not hunger, like, oh my God, I'm going to eat Walter today. Food's all I'm thinking about. I'm miserable. I just want to lay flat on my face. Not that.
Right.
But like, oh yeah, I feel that. I feel my stomach rumbling a little bit. It's almost time for me to eat, but that's freaking really cool because I'm in a calorie deficit. Like this is working. This is what I want. And it just how tolerant you are of that. TBT, but or TBD. I am in a calorie deficit.
Yeah. It shows. I'm just kidding.
It does. I keep like making decisions and I'm like, stop making decisions. Like I just got signed up with the landscape people to get brand new flower beds in my front. Like, stop doing stuff. When are you going to do all
Just
that?
like, that sounds good.
Like, yes,
Sure.
I need something. Listen, I need new flower beds. How about you pull the weeds out of the ones you got, sis?
No, it's springtime and that is very normal. I have that garden bug where
I do
like
too,
tomorrow we're
apparently.
gonna go to Home Depot and I have to put my that in a pot. Palm tree. Jeez. So I definitely have that. I'm like, I want to plant something. I don't know. I get it. So I don't think that's wrong of you.
But I have a rule where I don't make long-term decisions under 200
Oh.
carbs. I broke it because I forgot that I was under 200 carbs.
Did something happen where you made that rule?
Probably, but I can't remember.
Oh, that sounded like it would have been a good story. But
It probably was, but I'm like, you know what? No, ma'am. You just got to cruise through this.
you're almost done. You got a month-ish.
6 weeks, coming up on 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
May 11th is what we're shooting for. Hopefully, everything will comply. If not, I don't care. There's always shows every weekend.
I'm excited. I'm dragging Mark along,
I know.
but
I hope that I make it. We'll see.
you will. Rosetta's nervous about hers too, and I think she'll be
Well, I
just
mean,
fine.
it's valid. You don't know what your body's going to do, and it's like
Yeah.
very specific goals and requirements. And it's sometimes you have to decide, like, okay, we didn't make it. Do I want to go ahead and compete anyway, or do I want to push it back?
Are you gonna stay if you do the May 11th? Are you gonna like stay in it or like keep going?
I'm going to compete more than once this year for sure.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Because you want to qualify for
I would love to qualify for
something.
nationals and then make a
That's it.
call of like, do we think that I should go to nationals? Because you can qualify for nationals, but then like if you look at the competition you're against, you're just like, like,
Oh, yeah.
but you just don't. That's the thing with you don't know who's going to show up. You have
Know
no
your
idea.
audience.
Yeah, you have no idea who's coming that day. It's a subjective sport. Period. Bodybuilding is. It's literally. I mean, trained should be trained, and knowledgeable people. The judge's opinion about who showed up best. But bikini specifically is so volatile and subjective that it would drive you crazy if you let it, because it is about muscle, but it's about balance and symmetry, beauty flow. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Hair, makeup, tan. It's like, oh yeah, bikini is the most subjective division of bodybuilding for sure. Like, there's no, I don't think anybody would argue that.
Oh, that's annoying.
Like, well, how is your energy? Like, things like that. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I should have shoved a crystal up my ass. I don't know.
That is so funny. I kind of get it though, because to the very few that I've seen, you just know like the energy or like the confident type of confidence that somebody has when they're walking up there, it really does make a difference.
It does. And when you have a division that's not like who's the biggest, the leanest,
yeah,
the scariest, or whatever, like it's not that. It started out like it's the, pretty kind of like, as far as musculature, like muscle mass, size, it's the entry level for bodybuilding, definitely. And it started out as like fitness model type, and it has evolved to way, way, way past that. But the subjectiveness of who they think is the prettiest has not.
That's mean. That's rude.
It is what it is. I mean, it's an elective thing. You can't bitch about it, right?
Jeez Louise. Well, anywho's, let's dive in. We are talking about shit.
Poo-poo in the potty.
This was inspired by last week's episode because we really talked a lot about that on last week's episode, which was about mostly supplements. But we wanted to really do a deep dive on the importance of your BMs and your regularity and all that. And I kind of want you to repeat your little story about how relax.
Okay, could just somebody remember it here?
Well, you were just talking about last week how you didn't think it was your irregularity wasn't that big of a deal. I'm fine. I feel fine. It's, you know what I mean? Like,
worry about your own doo-doo, not mine. Yes, I do remember talking about that.
So go back to that time and
I'm going to go back even farther. I'm going in a time machine to 1997 when I went to college and was in a dorm. In dorms, I think they're different now, meaning like you have like more than like one bathroom for a floor. We had one bathroom per floor, right? And that was where all the showers were, all the toilets. Like, if you need to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, it was just miserable. It was miserable for me. And I was, at that time in my life, I was like a really shy pooper. And
as anybody would be.
I hated it. Like, that is where I think my regularity messed up, because I don't remember my poop habits from childhood or even through high school. Like, I don't remember having issues or thinking about it at all. I probably didn't. But that's where it became like an issue for me, where I stopped, I did not go every day. I would poop as fast as I can, flush, and then try to get out of there without finishing, that whole thing. So that's where I stopped being regular, I think. And fast forward to, I started working with Casey. And she asked about, and I had not ever been asked about regularity. And I was like, well, I'm one of those people that only poop a couple times a week.
No big deal.
And Casey was like, not for dieting, not for prep. Like, we have to fix that first. And I was like, no, I don't care. I feel fine. I don't feel bloated. I don't feel usually very, like, probably more than normal gassy. But she was insistent on that being just a foundational level of overall health for her athletes. And working, she didn't make me like drop out of prep or anything extreme, but that was a focus of my prep, which I was not expecting.
Oh yeah. You were kind of annoyed on it, like
I was annoyed on it. I was like, can we talk more about like diet and training than you worrying about my poop? Because I did feel like that was just normal for me. And then she, of course, explained kind of the detriment of not being regular, of not getting that out of your system for a lot of different reasons. But yeah, that's what we'll go into today of why you should care about regularity and doing things uh, diet wise, possibly supplement wise, and lifestyle to maybe not prioritize that, but have it on the list of things that you look at as far as your biofeedback and your overall health and wellness.
yeah, I think that is a definite, pretty easy cue
Uh
for
huh.
you to notice that something is off. Nothing's
Yeah.
broken, but it's like, oh hey, I haven't, aside from because traveling can do that. I know when I travel, I shut it down
Right. That's
until I
not
get where I'm
everybody,
going.
but well, I
I'm a little bit
mean,
of a switch because, like, if I'm in a car for 8, 10 hours, I won't go to the bathroom. No way. That's not happening. I lock it down and then I'll get to
yeah.
my destination and be like, it's time, guys, let's go. And then I'll
That's lucky
lock.
though, because a lot of people spend their vacations constipated the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, I have kind of experienced that. It is a little off. It's not gone back to
Mm-hmm.
perfect,
It always
but
seems like
yeah.
it, maybe you'll skip a day
Yeah.
or two and then go and you're like, I feel like it should be more. I haven't pooped, in
Yes.
1 or 2 days. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm sure there's somebody that's like, nope, still my 7 a.m. But like, I don't know them.
I think that's boys, right?
But it's boys. Yeah, you're right.
Boys. My twin brother, well, that whole travel thing really got locked in when we were kids because we road tripped all the time. And one of the churches we went to for many years was 2 hours away, one way. Like,
What in the world?
I don't know, but my parents insisted we get up at like 6 a.m. every Sunday and travel. And we were not allowed to go to the bathroom. And then, around regular other road trips that we would do, my except for my twin brother, he was the doo-doo-er of the family.
Good for him.
And we'd stop, and then like 20 minutes later, he's like, Dad, I have to poop.
Oh my god.
He was our worst enemy. It was the worst.
Did he take his sweet time or did he at least poop fast?
I don't even remember. We just remember how mad Dad would get, how annoyed we'd be. He was
Oh
always
my god,
angry.
family road trips, dude.
It's the best memories, honestly. Anyway, but as I was saying, like yeah, irregularity should be, and I think that's a great little clue for you to pay attention to because one, you're not in pain. I think that's great. You don't have like this bulging disc or something. It's just like,
Yeah, yeah.
hey, let's pay attention to this and work on it, just like you said.
Yeah. It's just, staying regular a is part of staying well. And we all know how it feels to be like constipated, where we're bloated and feel full and like yuck, and how it takes up part of your mental space, but it also makes you like feel physically not your
Yeah.
best, right? And that definitely translates into workouts and just your movement, like your NEAT, your non exercise activity. You're not going to just be light on your feet and moving through and doing the same things when you feel like you are just packed down, need to go to the bathroom. So, just the little things like that. And really kind of deep diving into like, except like, yes, this is important. I do want to work on my regularity. And when I started coaching, I was honestly shocked by how many women are not regular. Usually it's
Mm,
constipation, but IBS is pretty common too,
okay.
right? And then there's IBS with constipation, which is probably what I had. because it was like feast or famine kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I will still have like bouts of that. Like I know certain things that I should not do, like at Walmart. Like that is not the time for me to like down a whole bunch of water, or something like
Oh,
that at
yeah.
certain times of the day. You get to know like how your body works, but it's so related to hormones, stress, different like medications, exercise, movement. There's so many things that are not medications, or even so you don't even have to start with supplements, but saying, okay, whether your goal is muscle gain or weight loss, work on your regularity while you're doing it. You don't have to stop everything you're doing until you're pooping every single day. Okay, now I get to lose weight. It's not that, but especially for losing weight, when you're going to eat less calories, if you don't fix it, it will get worse and worse and worse as you consume less and less and less.
Ah, I see. So worse and worse, meaning less and less.
Your constipation symptoms, and the amount frequency will get worse if you don't get kind of the baseline where we're going, right?
Yeah.
And so like the first thing, like let's say you're like, okay, well, maybe it's not normal that I only poop every 2 to 3 days, a couple times a week, or that I never poop on vacation. What are like the baseline things? So we always start by looking at our lifestyle. And again, that's going to be some things that you would expect, like water and fiber, and some things maybe you're not thinking about, like stress and hormones. It's times like PMS. When you are in that PMS window of your menstrual cycle, do your bathroom habits change? When you are pregnant, that's a big time that that your bathroom habits, you'll see a change. Menopause, perimenopause, all of that stuff goes into it. Look at those things and then start how much just water am I drinking a day? And even like dialing in as much as how am I drinking that water? Am I drinking like a liter up until like 2 p.m. because I'm drinking like 9 cups of coffee and then like chugging another 3 in the next 3 hours?
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, all of that can make a big impact just on gut health, your microbiomes, different things like that, especially if you already struggle with IBS. But looking at those things and kind of dialing that in a little bit. And then we look at fiber. How much natural fiber are you consuming a day from fruits, veggies, berries, things like that, like lentils, whole grains, like things that could have fiber in them, soluble and insoluble both count. How much of that are you getting in? A good kind of rule of thumb is about like 15%, of your overall calorie intake, but usually that's like between 25 and 30 grams is a good amount. Too much fiber is not better necessarily. That can also cause bloating, constipation, gas, all the things we're trying to like work out. So looking at those things, one thing that when I am in a calorie deficit, now that I put in like pretty quickly, when I start to see any kind of like, okay, my body's recognizing that the calories are lower, is like one just big ass salad every day that is not just lettuce, but right now it's my last meal of the day because I'm okay. I'm happier with no carbs at the end of the day than I would be while I'm trying to do like 100 things, right? Because our carbs are our energy for our brain too, and our bodies, our little go booster. And so like my salad, it's not even a salad right now. It's shifted. It was a big salad, but now it's gone to like my protein. It's either ground turkey or chicken breast. And I cooked that with a whole bunch of spinach. I was using an arugula salad mix, but I just wanted a warm dinner. I don't know why. I'm just kind of going with the flow here as much as I can. So I cooked that with like, how baby spinach cooks down?
Yeah.
A lot of baby spinach with some salsa. And then on the side of that, it's like 300 grams of roasted zucchini in my air fryer. And that's like more than one whole zucchini. So that's my fiber hit.
Solid amount.
Yeah. And I mean, hitting what I'm hitting, like 27, 28 grams of fiber a day on, right now I'm eating 1,600 calories. That is really good for me. Really good for me. And knock on wood, everything's flowing just fine.
Yeah, the fiber is really good for you, not the calories, just so we're clear.
Yeah, well, it's good for what I'm doing right now. But the fiber is going to stay for me, because I have already fought this battle, and I do not like riding the same struggle bus, at least over and over again. That'll start getting on my own nerves. I'm going to always prioritize fiber and water. I've preached about this before, about how well your body handles 1 liter every 3 hours without the frequency of urination, without, kind of just pushing too much fluid through your system. Just not going to have the same great benefits as if you just kind of slow down and drink it more calmly.
I'm in that boat right now. Well, I mean,
it happened.
You got on me about getting it in the water in before or right at 4 o'clock and not so late in the day, which I logically know, because I don't want to have to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, which I kind of am still doing. Well, the other night I had finished my water by like 5 o'clock. I was like, look at me, let's go. But then I was like thirsty, but I was like, I don't want to drink. I also wanted to take my magnesium.
Drink the thirst.
Yeah, but then my bladder is so sensitive.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, I'm thinking that my bladder is sensitive because I have to be really careful, because like us talking now, I'm drinking my water, but only just to like swoosh it in my mouth, because
I drink so much water when we do a podcast. Like I'll drink a liter in the hour we do a podcast, not because I'm trying.
Yeah, same. And then I have to pee so bad. I'm like, peeing this much is not normal.
It is. It's just fine, especially when you're drinking it quickly.
Yeah, and then when it's getting closer to 4 o'clock, I'm like, let's go. It's go time.
Listen, I would rather chug the water to get it in before 4, because like it gets on my nerves so bad to get up in the night to go pee. Yeah. Like I do all these things to make sure that I am, my body is well taken care of and I'm getting this amazing sleep, and I gotta get up to pee.
Yeah.
It's cold and I'm barefooted and I hate walking in the bathroom floor barefoot.
Yeah. Same.
It's annoying.
Yeah. So let's talk about, the reasons why this is important and the effects that, constipation has on your kind of overall health. That may, because kind of like in this boat, you talking to the people who are in the same boat that you were once in, where it's not that big of a deal. I'm still going. I'm fine. There's nothing major in my life. You know what I mean? Like it's not disruptive. Yeah. So like, why? Like, what would you tell them?
That I don't want you to interrupt your life to like all hands on deck freak out about this.
Right.
But it is detrimental. Like you can say what whatever you want to like kind of like, oh, everything else is going good. This one thing is important, because I even had someone tell me, well, it's because I'm not eating that many calories, so I'm not making poop. Like, yes, you are. You're making poop, like regardless. You're not, your body's not absorbing every single thing that you're eating. There are non-absorbable parts of all food. And one thing that really kind of hit home with me is it helps, like in that poop, in the actual poop, you're releasing toxins, excess estrogen, and all kinds of like other stuff. That stuff is supposed to come out of your body for a reason. The longer it stays in your intestinal tract, a couple things happen. Those toxins, because they're just sitting there, they can get like reabsorbed, not in an amount that's going to kill you or do anything, but it can has been linked to acne, ulcers in your mouth, different kinds of your organs not functioning as well, because those toxins that they have already filtered out
I see.
Like you go out, you go to the poop, you got to get out of here. They're coming back. And another thing that happens anyway, it's how you kind of can get impacted, and why people get impacted with poop is because poop is 75% water, I think, something like that. It's a lot more water than I thought.
Yeah.
It's like celery. I'm like, if you're that much water, how are you even a solid? But anyway,
I didn't know that.
That water starts, when it just sits there, the water starts coming out. So now it's hard. It's not as pliable for that peristalsis to move it through your digestive tract to come out. And when that happens, it could get to a point where it's just sitting there and this is especially like one sign of this happening is if you notice you haven't been going a lot, but when you do, it's like kind of painful diarrhea. A lot of times it's because it's going around the impacted, dried up poop.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Interesting and
Ah.
yuck and sad.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. And always the first thing you want to look at is lifestyle. What can I do to lower my stress, right? You don't want a whole bunch of like weird things going on with stomach acid. Start tracking your fiber. Make sure you're getting enough fiber, your water. Look at where you are in your cycle. Are we going through menopause, anything like that? And then once those things are steady, Freddie, for a few weeks, see how that affects you. And then you can start looking at, supplements. Because sometimes adding in some supplements to get things moving can be helpful and what you need. And you don't have to always use them, but to get the body like moving,
trigger
right?
it.
To get it back like, okay, she's getting enough fiber, she's drinking enough water, and now she's also drinking at night some water with a tablespoon of psyllium husk. Just like organic psyllium husk you can get off Amazon. I will caution, if anybody's going to try this, don't walk away from it. Stir it in your water and then drink it, because one time I stirred it up and I went and did something for like a minute, like for real, like just went and did something and came back and it was Jello.
Ugh.
So yeah,
You
don't
didn't drink
do
that. You redid it, right? You drank the Jello.
I did, because
Did
I
a
don't
little
know
Jello
why
shot.
I shouldn't have done that. Well, I tell you what, that now I remember it though. So that's the first. You can pour in stuff like apple cider vinegar, just for if you think it's maybe a gut health thing. That'll help. And then there's also things like, I really like a supplement from One Up Nutrition that's called Daily Cleanse, for people that just really have a hard time going every day for whatever reason, and they checked off the boxes, right, of baseline health and nutrition. And it's really good. And it's psyllium husk with some other like vitamins and stuff in it, but no laxatives, non-stimulant or stimulant. That's a great one if the psyllium husk isn't going. And then if that still isn't going, then we need to, you probably need to look at if you're impacted or something like that.
What's that?
Just have poop. Yeah. You can just do that. I think they do that with like just an x-ray. And another supplement that most people should and could add in, it's very cheap, is magnesium citrate.
Yeah.
That's a great one that really helps with rape. I love magnesium. It's like one of the few supplements I've added in where I'm like, I can tell.
Yeah.
I can actually tell.
Yeah.
That this is making a difference. That's a really great one. And usually, you add in the magnesium, maybe the psyllium husk, maybe you go all the way to the Daily Cleanse, some kind of supplement like that that's also psyllium husk with some added stuff. Generally, that's going to get things going.
Aside from magnesium, like that, and somebody gets to the point of taking supplements, is that like a temporary thing, or would that be like a long-term thing if they get to that point?
It can be temporary. You can start cutting back on it and see if things are moving. But if you're just taking a tablespoon of psyllium husk at night, there's nothing wrong with that, right? You don't have, it's not like an opioid, or something that's going to affect your we take lots, like, it's like a daily multivitamin. Like, could I ever wean myself out? Like, if you want to, but
Yeah, no,
it's
I
not a big
think
deal.
I should have probably prefaced, like, because we're not talking about, like, kind of touched on it a little bit. We're not talking about laxatives. There are bad.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about laxatives.
Well, let's talk about, like, the difference, or like what to steer away from if you
Yeah.
get to that point.
Yeah, I would say, laxatives, I know that they are needed. Like when, you're going to get a colonoscopy, but they are not a day-to-day fix for constipation. They're not. They are like, they're a means to an end, and you're just going to poop your brains out. But what, of course, we see a lot is people think that they are helping with weight loss.
Oh.
That's not true.
Just because something's exiting your body, like.
Well, I guess, like, even saying that, I'm like, it would help with weight loss because poop weighs something.
Yeah.
They do not help with fat loss.
Yeah. True.
I always have to make that distinction.
We do.
That's not fat. That's poop. You're going to weigh less. You're going to feel lighter and better for sure. But instead of, your mind being like, oh, laxatives are the answer for my, weight loss goals, it should say, I feel a lot better when I'm not constipated. So I would like to find something that helps me become regular without hurting my health, because laxatives will hurt your health. They will.
Yeah.
They will. It's like one of those things, like every once in a while, if, you need to force something for some reason, if you're just extremely constipated, like I said, going to get some kind of test that required a colonoscopy, whatever. Yeah, I get it. But it should not be just like an elective kind of thing, or definitely not used to push weight loss or to weigh less on the scale.
Well, let's go to the flippity flip, because we do hear a lot about, being regular, 2 to 3 times a day. But what about the people who are way on the other end of the spectrum? Because I think that's also a problem. If you're going way too much, and then you got to find that other medium.
Yeah, that's, that is what's called irritable. Well, it's not always called that, but irritable bowel syndrome. There's usually a trigger for that. Right? Like, there's a food you're eating. Yeah. Maybe you don't want to give it up. I get it. I too love cheese and bread and things, but people that are going that much, there's something going on. There's something triggering that you're eating a lot. And just, you got to do kind of an elimination diet, which sounds way worse than it is.
Yeah.
I think. But the key is, this is where it gets hard for people. They're like, okay, I'm just going to eat clean. Right? I'm taking out dairy. I'm taking out gluten. But that takes away a lot of, like, really yummy stuff.
Yeah.
And then, because you have to introduce it back one by one.
It's super
you can't
annoying.
Eat clean and be like, okay, I did my month of clean eating. Now I'm not. Like, you still won't know.
Yeah.
You gotta do dairy or gluten, or it could be, my mind's going blank. It can be a lot of things.
Yeah.
That can trigger that.
Yeah, well, mine, I've talked about it before when I had, pretty sure it was salmonella poisoning.
Oh my God.
I've told you that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was quite rough, and I didn't know it at the time that it probably was that, because it went 6 weeks of pure liquid and everything.
6 weeks?
Yeah. It was
so you haven't told me that.
I've talked about it, but yeah, I don't know how much in depth.
I don't think you said 6 weeks. Wow.
It was really bad, and because I knew I'd ate something that it was raw, like uncooked chicken that I didn't cook all the way. It was like an enchilada, so how would I know? I'm not gonna.
Right.
And 10 minutes later, I was like, oh, that really made my stomach upset, and I thought it was just gonna be that, and that was my life. I couldn't eat like saltine crackers, but I would force myself to eat because I need to, but I know in 5 minutes
going right through you.
Awful and burns, and it was so bad, but because it kept going on for so long, I was like, well, something else is wrong. It has to be something. So I tried doing elimination stuff. Like, let's see the gluten, if that's really triggering it. And I got to the point where I'm like, no, I could eat a leaf and it would,
Yeah, this is something else going on.
It was so bad. What really helped trigger me out of that, like kind of jumpstart my entire intestinal system and my microbiome, was acupuncture. She did on my belly. They call it like a turtle's back, of like where they put all the needles. You can't see my
Ooh.
Yeah. And I was like, anything. I have not had a solid BM in weeks. It's been awful, going way too much. She's like, all right. And so the next day, boom. It was the wildest thing.
That is the wildest thing. And that usually doesn't happen for people. There's hardly ever like a thing where they're like, oh, light switch off, you know?
It was still a little iffy after that, but that was the first like regular BM that I had. It was still a little bit of a process after that.
Yeah.
But it just took time. And then I think also which is weird. Well, after what you said, it may not be now that I'm putting the pieces together, but I was on birth control at the same time too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think the salmonella poisoning and what it did to my belly was then being my birth control, those hormones were then exacerbating like more of the problem.
Right.
And I had a bunch of like eczema. I was having some skin problems. And the second a week after I got off my birth control, my face was crystal clear. It was so weird.
Like, wait a minute, I thought this was making me healthier. Yeah.
It was
and
all
that's
connected.
Another good point too, is that your poop does tell a story. And obviously we know like not pooping bad, but weird poop, way too frequent or not solid or really pale or like black or red. Also, I'll always tell the story about like, remember what you've eaten too, because that can play. There was a time we went to, it was like a group ski trip to Crested Butte, and we all went to dinner together, got our plates, and it was like the seasonal side was roasted beets. And I'm the only person in the world that likes beets.
Yeah, maybe.
And everybody gave me me and my mom, but everybody gave me their beets. And I ate like half a plate of beets. I love beets. I love roasted beets. Like, love them.
Okay.
And the next day I went to the bathroom and was like, call 911. I have colon cancer. It was red.
Oh, red.
I was like, I literally just shed blood. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Let me Google this. Oh, like, yeah, it was a beet. So do take that
into some common sense.
Learn from my panic attack. But yes, the color, the consistency, they do matter, especially if it is ongoing. Like a one-time weird poop, like whatever, dude. But when it's lasting days, weeks, like that, it's not. Well, that's normal. Diarrhea is normal for me. No, that you like look, just not like spaz out, yell, call 911. I'm shitting blood. Not that, but dig a little bit into what has changed. Has something changed in my diet? Is anything else going on? Am I also nauseous? Do I have headaches? Like, kind of try to do a little bit more than just accepting something that may be either like acutely or long-term detrimental to your overall health.
Amen. I know when mine gets weird, right? I don't know what day of my period, but something on my period will like upset my belly.
A lot of people have period diarrhea, and it's like urgent like that. And a lot of people tend to get a little bit constipated. Like
that's happened too before. Who knows?
Yeah. And again, it's like women are, we have much more drastic hormonal highs and lows than men. And just because we can't see what's happening doesn't mean it's not very real and should always be taken into account when something feels like it's shifting in your body.
I am really curious to do like a stool test, just because.
Yeah? To see what?
Well, do you remember that little video I sent the group about this practitioner, I think he was a doctor, was showing an x-ray of this girl's gut and just like how like how she was backed up, the bloating and the trapped gas and all that. And he did a stool test. I was like, oh, that's so like curious. It said exactly what would be irritating her gut. I was like, I don't know. It's just
if it was a TikTok
interesting.
video, I very likely could not open it. So I might not have seen it. Because it won't, I don't know why, it just won't open. They won't open from here. They'll just go to some random video and I'm like, I know this was not what Katelynn said.
Oh, gosh.
But
yeah.
a lot of things can cause like back injuries are like cause some pretty chronic constipation issues. I do like, it's the same as like food sensitivity.
I know that. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
But I didn't know that. I've learned that in the past probably 5 years or so. But I'm always cautious about like any kind of food sensitivity test or even like a poop test, what you were talking about, because it's such a window to a small amount of time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
So I'm always cautious of that. Like, it's like, if you are someone that, and you literally ate the same thing every single day of your life without variance, it would maybe be, pretty accurate. But I've just seen so many people like, well, I took a food sensitivity. I'm like, let me guess, egg whites, caffeine, like they're going to show up on these things that you're
okay, I won't do it.
Well, I mean, you do what you want. But I'm just saying, you always take that kind of stuff with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it can offer good insight, but also at the same time, don't take it so literally.
That's what I mean, is like, don't like hang your hat on and go like, oh my God, I can never eat an egg white again. It's causing all of my problems. Probably not.
I would just do the elimination diet from there. Just like, let's eliminate the egg whites and see what happens. If that's something I'm eating a lot of. If I'm not, then I'm not going to like sweat over it.
That's what doing an elimination diet really well takes a long time because you need it completely out of your system. So like for a month, and then reintroduce things one at a time. And see how it goes. And the easiest way to do it is like to eliminate everything you think it could be. Yeah. And then reintroduce one at a time.
You know what also helps with this is, I might get shit on for this because there's controversy.
It's a good episode for that.
Chiropractors.
Yeah. Well, I like a chiropractor.
Me too. I love being thrown around and bent in half and cracked up. I love it so much. I daydream about my chiropractor, like doing my neck. It feels so good. It's like the stretch of all stretches. Ugh. But it does help. That's why I was saying earlier, like, oh yeah, a back injury, that does make sense for it to be able to like, because there are nerves that are connected to your intestines that are connected to all of that. And if it's being impacted or, constricted, then yeah, that kind of makes sense that it's not getting the signal that I should be going to the bathroom.
Yes, it is a lot about nerves and everything too, and getting that like signal for the peristalsis where it starts like moving on down the road for sure.
And have you seen those little videos of like chiropractors working on little tiny babies because they're constipated?
Yeah.
And they'll go doo-doo right there and they'll stop crying finally.
I know. And I love that too, but I'm also like, not my little baby.
Well, I've worked for a couple chiropractors, so I'm a little bit biased. But one of them,
I cannot remember that. Like, it's like I didn't know you when you were a massage therapist, so it can't be true.
Well, one of the offices I worked for had a chiropractor who only worked on pregnant moms and infants and children.
Oh, wow.
And I was like,
very specific.
Very specific. She like sat me down one afternoon and kind of told me like how she does it. And they're not taking a baby's head and going,
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's just like they'll just do like little boop boop. It's basically, it looks like they're tapping on like the little baby, but because they're so malleable that young.
Oh my gosh, they are
Yeah.
literally made of rubber. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, I want one. Wait,
Oh,
no.
we want a baby. I mean, I don't, but I would love for you to have one.
Mark and I, you know what we've been talking about lately is like what we would name our kids.
Oh, that's step one.
And I don't know how we got on the subject one time because I'm dead set on having twins. Like, it's just twins. It's gonna happen. Twin boys, but I'm okay with a boy and a girl. There's gonna be twin boys. And he's
That
like, "What
blows
would
my
you?"
mind about you because I had 3 brothers too,
Yeah.
and I literally prayed for just girls.
Mark would be too good of a girl dad. It wouldn't work out. Like,
It'll be fine. It's fine.
too good. Like, they get away with everything. Our parenting styles would not align only if it was a girl. Because he's such a pushover with.
No, they'd get on his nerves. He'd be fine.
Okay. Well, yeah, so we were talking about baby boys' names because I know what I would name a girl, ironically, because I don't
Oh,
want
yeah, you're like, I
to.
don't care.
Yeah,
Sally.
but I was like, I haven't thought of any. That's my mom's name, actually.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's cute. But yeah, the one we landed on for one of them is Hector. Isn't that so cute? You're like, no, that's awful. I don't know. I'd love like
Awful.
sophisticated names like Walter. He's a cat.
Walter the Third. Yes.
I
Sir
don't know.
Walter.
But anyhow. Yeah.
But when you're pregnant, it could affect your regularity. So just know that, and you can work
Okay.
right through it.
You know, I think I'm well prepared, especially for the amount of times I probably would have to pee. I think I'm prepared for that now already.
Yes, you're laying the groundwork. You've been just really doing it.
This, it's already
And you're
pressing on
very
my
regular
bladder.
too. You're very regular too. So that's always just going into any kind of change with a good baseline. And for women too, like, yeah, you're 34 now, but you won't be forever. If you can go ahead and get some of the baselines really lined out and get flowing, when you do go through menopause or perimenopause, it's going to be so much easier to move through it without like, okay, now it's really bad and I'm not even pooping every week. Like, just to go ahead and just say, this is actually important. And I love pooping. I really do. Like, I love it. I love to go poop every day. And it's probably because like I went so long where I didn't.
Yeah.
But like every single day I'm like, yay, we did it.
That is so funny. And I can't believe I did bring this up before, but my mom, I don't know about her past, but definitely within the last like couple, maybe even several years, that has been her biggest struggle. It's all she talks about.
I'm telling you.
It's all she talks about.
One
She
of
does
those
everything.
things that's not a big deal until it is.
Yeah. I have too much
Has she tried
information.
magnesium?
I don't know what she's on anymore, but she unfortunately is on a handful of like medications just because she can't produce melatonin. And then she obviously has gone through the whole menopause thing,
yeah,
all of that,
well,
and then some.
ask her what she's on for that. I'd be curious because magnesium supplementation in the right form, the right times of day, and even that supplement I mentioned before is just the one. It's by One Up Nutrition. It's called Daily Cleanse. It's psyllium husk and some other things. But
I wouldn't be surprised if she's tried it. She's the healthiest person I've ever met, at least as far as her knowledge base goes. But she tried everything, as far as I know. And for a time, coffee like helped her. She would just have like a teeny tiny amount in the morning. She does not like coffee. She's willing to sell her soul to go to the bathroom regularly.
I've been there. Yeah, ask her about that for me. Ask Sally. I'm curious. I'm probably closer to no, I'm not. I almost said I'm closer to your mom's age, but I bet I'm not.
No. We're closer in age.
Yeah, I'm your big sister. Ask Mom what she's doing for the poops and let me know.
All right. Well, I think that's it for today, folks. Thanks for joining us in this shit episode.
Anytime, and just so everybody knows, I'm not scared to poop anymore. I will not hold it at Walmart, at your house, at church. If I gotta go, I'm going, baby.
Why do boys do that?
You should too.
Boys do that. They're like, no, I gotta do it at home. And they'll like torture themselves until they get to their home base.
I mean, I will do an emergency run if I think I can make it, just because I can relax better there. But
true.
I mean, I could write a really weird paper on the places that I have pooped. Because I'm not holding it anymore. Been there, done that.
Okay, what's top? I gotta know now. What's your number one weirdest?
Outdoors.
The woods, yeah. All right. Okay, number 2, because I guess we could have all.
Matt's apartment when we were dating, just very first started dating, because I had taken something to go. It was awful. And
that's so scary.
I mean, restaurants, Walmart, Kroger.
It's not too weird. I am not shy about going. I get it, but I'm like, if I have to go, I'm just gonna go. That's not that big of a deal. And there's a bathroom right there. If I'm in an area where I'm not, like, clearly. And
sometimes you don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's like, you're gonna go in there or your pants. So there's a clear winner here.
Oh my God. TMI, that happened to me as an adult one time.
It happened to me once as an adult. Well, I almost said I wasn't an adult. I was in my 20s. I was an adult.
We ate dinner. I won't go into so many details. We ate dinner, and I was like, for some reason, I was in high school. I was like, a walk sounds good, which is so unlike me at the time. It was like a little post-dinner walk. We had burgers, and I'm pretty sure it was... when your tummy has been upset and you think about what you ate, can you feel like you instinctually narrow down exactly the thing that it was?
I always do. I don't know if I'm right, but I'm like,
because you think about it and you're
the
like,
burger sauce. Yeah.
To me, it was the onions. I'm pretty sure it was the onions on the burger. So I went to on a walk, and there's a section of that neighborhood that turned into like dirt road, and it was like the suburbs. But on my way back, I started getting the sweats. I was like, oh no.
Oh yeah, we pooped in our pants kind of the same way.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not going to knock on a door. There are woods. I was like, should I? I was too embarrassed to do that in the woods, like go into the bush over there. I basically ran home and
didn't make it. Well, okay, so I was in my 20s when I was still very young and very just thinking about, I'm like, I cannot imagine doing this now and not expecting to die. But like, we'd gone out to eat Mexican, drank margaritas, and I was training for a half marathon. And so, drink a bunch of margaritas, get up at 6 and go run. Can you imagine? And it was winter. So I put on a layer of leggings and like pants over that, under layer, sweatshirt or something. And running, and started getting those cold sweats away from home.
The worst.
I just threw those clothes away.
I think I did too. I've been in situations before as a massage therapist where you're not technically supposed to be leaving the room, but there's times where I was like, oh, I've ran out of lotion. I'm so sorry. I'll be right back.
Well, what are you going to do?
There's times where I'm pretty mentally strong when it comes to having to hold it if I have to. But if I can get out of it, I'll get out of it.
But sometimes you can't. Yeah.
In times where I'm just like, I think I got this. I'm like, if I put too much pressure on like what I'm doing or like effort, I'm just like,
breathe through it.
Like and they're the little client's probably sitting there like, wow, let's breathe with her.
She's really, really getting my energy aligned. Your chakra, yay.
Oh man, I'm so done with that. Anyway, tell us about your worst doo-doo stories. That would be fun.
That would be. You can tell us to be anonymous. We swear we won't call you out. We only call ourselves out.
Yeah. It's not that big of a deal. You're just talking to us. No big deal. But anyhow. Thanks for listening as always. Until next time, everybody, have a great rest of the week. Bye.
Wish you regularity and love. Goodbye.
Yes, bye.
Thanks for listening to the FFP Alignment Podcast. Please support us by downloading, rating, and recommending us to your friends and family. Be sure to check us out on Instagram at the FitFemme Project. That's FITFEMME Project. And for those of you looking to find their essential balance of lifestyle and fitness, book a free consult by going to thefitfemmeproject.com. That's FITFEMME Project.com and click Apply Now. Until next time, this is the FitFemme Project Alignment Podcast.